We are, in fact, engaging in the rumblings. I'm Mike. He's Byron. And we're back.
Also true.
We're back to talk about Money in the Bank. And, spoiler alert, didn't like it much. Did not like it much. Would that accurately describe your feelings?
It would, but I just found out that a friend of mine built a giant pentagram on top of one of my bases in my Minecraft server, so I'm pretty excited right now. So my excitement is sort of tempering my disappointment.
I have specifically done nothing exciting so that I can, whip out my dick and piss on this thing.
That is some commitment, and I appreciate that.
Indeed.
That's what I appreciate about you.
I even had like a nice lunch planned and abandoned it because it would cheer me up. All right, so let me just roll down to my notes here. All right, we kicked off with the Hype Bros versus the Colognes. I'll take this one first, and then you can have the next match first.
Fine.
Not a lot to this match, but didn't have to be. The match's goal was to reintroduce us all to Zack Ryder, the man we love and adore, and were heartbroken when their tag team title shot was taken away for the knee injury that he suffered. So in that regard, this match did everything you could hope for. Hype Bros in control pretty early on. The Colognes, however, take out Ryder's knee, and we get an extended, methodical breakdown, which could have used a little more energy. I'm gonna, minorly nitpick it. The Colognes are good at working a reasonably high pace, and this could have picked up a little bit. And we get a hot tag to Mojo Rawley, and then the Colognes survive the hyperdrive, but they fall to the Hype Rider for the 3 count. Like I said, not a lot to it, but did its job. Perfectly acceptable kickoff match. I am going to gripe about something here. The interesting thing is that Mojo Rawley, they make a very big deal about his athleticism and his football background. And he has a football background. I actually saw him play when he was with the Green Bay Packers in the preseason. I'm a big Packers fan. His accomplishments in football are much lower than I would really like to see them for a guy they're hyping that about. He spent a season on the preseason roster for the Packers, and then wound up as an injury reserve for a bit of the following season with Arizona. Ironically, the same season that Baron Corbin played for them. So they may actually have been teammates at some point. I don't know. But like, for example, Baron Corbin has a more established football resume. It's not a good one, mind you. Never played in a regular season game in the NFL, but he lasted longer. And you can also say the same about Roman Reigns, who at least did play some professional football with the CFL's Edmonton Eskimos. Which, I mean, is not great, but he was on a practice roster for a couple of NFL teams and did actually get to play in a professional football game that Mojo didn't. So their hype on his football credentials is, let's just say, it's misplaced. Take it over, Byron.
Well, I like this match. I'm less down on the Colognes than you are. I know you were saying that they're not just 6 feet under, they're like 18 feet under, I believe was the quote.
That was the quote.
And I am less of that opinion. They're not really a joke tag team to me. I know that they're probably not going to win a match when I see them, but they're good wrestlers. They don't look like idiots in the ring. They don't use bad ring psychology very often. When they do, it's pretty obvious that that's what they're told that they have to do. And it's just shitty writing, so there's nothing you can do about it other than dropkick the writers, which I would recommend. So I don't have a problem with the Colognes. They just seem to be the tag team to the stars. You don't see them losing to like really horrendous tag teams, just new guys. Got to put the new guys over. Eventually you can't do that with them anymore because they're just going to be jobbed out, but I don't think that they're at that point yet. And I was massively impressed with Mojo's sort of new evolution. He's incorporating more football stuff into his ring psychology, which is appropriate for all of the hype they're putting around that aspect of his life. And he's got himself like a little pitter patter in the ring. He's got some dialogue he can throw out there. Everybody's like instantly getting behind he ain't hyped. That's awesome. I mean, if you were to compare Mojo Rawley with Naomi, Naomi keeps trying to get people to chant the word glow, and she'll go like, glow, 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 and it's dead silent, and she's like, okay, I'm stopping that now.
Still got a couple pity chants, but that's about all it is.
Yeah, there's like 2 8-year-old girls way in the back going, glow, glow, oh, I look like an idiot too, I'm stopping that. And then she even did it tonight in her match. She's like, glow time! And people are like, cool. But, I mean, Mojo's got tons of personality. He's getting to be quite good in the ring. He needs more practice. I understand they probably use him a lot on house shows, but he needs more TV time. And I'm in favor of Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley getting all of the TV time. So these are good things. I thought this was one of the better matches on the card. Booked pretty well all the way through. I would have... I mean, if you're going to push Mojo, I understand they're trying to push the tag team in this particular match and not so much individual guys, but if you're going to also push the guy who won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal Tournament of Doom and Hell and Damnation, you might want to put his finisher over. If he's debuting a new finisher called the Hyperdrive, you might want to put that over, just saying.
I agree with everything you said before. I think, honestly, the Memorial Trophy, the Andre the Giant Battle Royal Memorial, was given to him more or less as a makeup for his loss of a title shot at the tag team titles when Ryder got hurt. And it feels like that because they've really done nothing with it. Really nothing. And that kind of, I think, shows exactly what that was. And the only thing I have with the Colognes thing is the Colognes are good wrestlers. I like them. I enjoy them. I do think they are worse than Carlito, but whatever. They're a very good tag team that has been, I think, misused by the WWE because you said it yourself. You know they're not going to win. And when your tag team division is as thin, especially on the heel side, where it's basically the Usos, I think you need a heel tag team that you can buy winning sometimes. I'm not saying like 50-50. I'm not saying 100% of the time. But I am saying like they've gotten to the point where I know that even if they are, quotation marks, feuding with a team, they're never going to beat said team. And that is what I mean by them being 18 feet under. Is I think they need them to be something more than just simple enhancement talent because they need more heel tag teams. If you look at the SmackDown tag team division right now, you have on the heel side, the Usos, your heel champions. So it's working for now because you have the heel champs. But then you have face teams in the New Day, who will probably get those titles pretty soon. You have Fashion Police, who are quite over right now. You have Hype Bros, who there's a theory that they're going to be broken up at some point, and Zack Ryder's going to go heel, which would make sense because of the problems I'm illustrating right here. And then you have American Alpha when they're back off the shelf, who are faces who have been mishandled terribly, so perhaps you could do a heel gimmick off of that.
Is one of those guys injured, or are they just not using them on TV because they're idiots?
I believe one of them is injured. I believe Jason Jordan is injured, but I could be mistaken. They could just being stupid. But right there, you have a bunch of you have a bunch of face tag teams. You have one heel tag team, and then you have the Colognes and the Ascension, who are both super buried right now. You need something. You need either a new team or you need to rehabilitate one of those teams to really make this division click and be money. Is what I'm getting.
Based on the pay-per-view we watched, I would have to go with probably just being stupid.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that. So here we are. We then got a really long pay-per-view hype package. By the way, we're on the pay-per-view at this point, and you're giving me the pay-per-view hype package that basically says, buy the pay-per-view that you have already bought.
Yep.
The logic, you have a kickoff show. Fucking use the kickoff show for that. I don't get it.
The thing they did. And then they get into the pay-per-view and
they do it again.
Goddamn time. I mean, did you add up? Here, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go into a little bit of a rant about the women's Money in the Bank because we go on and on about the hype packages. Do me a quick favor. Total up the entire match time.
I'm doing that.
The entire card. And then we can compare that to promo time. So,
All right, we're back. We had a bit of a snafu there with problems. Byron, you were saying about the women's Money in the Bank.
I was. So I'm not sure where the technical difficulty occurred, so I'm just going to start from the top, and you can splicey whatever if you feel like it.
Indeed.
So problem number one is you had the historic, and you keep using the word historic, so I will use the word historic. You had the historic first ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match as the curtain jerker to the pay-per-view. Now, I appreciate the little bitty interview packages you did for all the women involved. That was cool. I dig that. But you had it as the curtain jerker? That's the whole reason the pay-per-view even exists. Morons. Second of all, apparently, it's official. Vince, and by extension, the entire WWE, hates women. Because you had the historic, first ever, women's Money in the Bank ladder match won by a man. That's the best. That's the best booking I've ever heard. Who the hell was booked? And I kept saying this. Mio and I were just kind of conversing via the Steam chat because he's being all quiet, and I just kept saying, every single match on this card basically got the Dusty Rhodes seal of approval. Yeah, that's a nice fuck finish. Just do that. No, that's pretty fucked up. Let's just fuck finish this and fuck finish that. It's all fuck finishes all the way down, boys and girls. And the match itself, pretty good. I was really digging the match. I was into it. I was appreciating it. I was having a good time. And then they pulled the stunt with Ellsworth at the end, and it was really slow and sloppy, and it ruined the whole match. He took so much time tipping the ladder over, doing his little shuffle through the ring, standing the ladder back up, getting his nuts together, climbing up the thing, finally undoing the briefcase, and then the quickest thing he did was just dropping the briefcase to Carmella, who Saxton called Kamala a couple times, which I thought was hilarious. I don't even hold it against him. He was like, Kamala? Oh, it was good. I'm pretty sure, I know a lot of people called this one Carmella was going to win because it makes no sense. It's the worst decision you can possibly make. Therefore, Vince will do it.
Tamina would have been a worse choice.
No, because you can at least play her off as a powerhouse. You can't do anything with Carmella except make her get her ass kicked 3 ways from Sunday and have her sell for it. And then I guess then you're going to put the belt on her because you have to. You have to put the belt on her. That's the historic first ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match winner. You have to cash it in, and it has to be successful. There has to be a precedent for success in that match.
Oh, plus if they have her fail, they won't be able to use the statistical certainty line, which is, oh my god, how that annoys me.
So you got 2 decisions at this point. You can unfuck the fuck finish and do the match again without Carmella or with Ellsworth banned from ringside, or you could do the first ever historic women's Money in the Bank cage match, but please don't let there be escapes because that's the dumbest thing.
Yeah, we've been through that.
Yeah, so they can storyline unfuck the fuck finish, or kayfabe an injury and take the briefcase off her somehow, but there's no precedent for that either, so that won't work.
Oh no, they have taken the briefcase off of people before. So
really?
You can do that. Ken Kennedy lost his briefcase.
Yeah, but in a match though, right?
Yeah, because they thought he was injured, and it turned out he was, but not.
It was it was like a bruise.
Yeah, it was. I believe he missed a month with the injury, where they were thinking originally it was going to be 8 months.
Yeah, I remember the story. It was 3 weeks or something when it could have been 8 months. So Carmella's your new women's champion, de facto, unless you unfuck the fuck finish. So your historic first ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match is a giant steaming pile of crap. Congratulations. Apparently they just hate women.
I'm on board with literally everything you said. I will say, like, just quick playing devil's advocate. I actually like the concept of the finish. I don't like it for the first ever women's Money in the Bank. Like,
no, I mean, you could do this in the 6th or 7th one.
Oh yeah, totally. No, like I am behind this. You could have a really cowardly heel with a pussy whipped boyfriend, manager, whatever the case may be. Have him go up there and get it. Basically, do this exact same thing. Although execution would be good, like faster, more speed. But yeah, for the first one, no, like it really needed to be a woman getting it. Like, you could have had Ellsworth do a ladder tip. I'd be okay with that. But it should have been, he does the ladder tip, and then one of the, actual women. And when I say women, I don't mean Carmella, because she's a girl. And for the record, I'm just distinguishing this, because if Carmella was not, I was saying this to Byron, if Carmella was not sleeping with who she's sleeping with, she would not have this spot. I don't even mean like Nikki Bella problems, because like Nikki Bella, when she came up, I understood the appeal of. She didn't work for me, but I got it. Carmella is really not. She's not a particularly good talker. No. She's not a good wrestler outside of selling. She's not a good wrestler. She's a good actress to a degree. Like, she can convince me that she's actually getting her ass kicked. And she's not. Like, she's not unattractive by any means. This is not me like I kick her out of bed or anything like that. No. But she's not even the most attractive woman in this match.
No.
Like, she's actually, I would rank her 4th in this match, ahead of Tamina and behind everyone else. I understand that not everyone's big on Natty Neidhart, so maybe she's number 3. I'm big on Natty Neidhart. I'd rank her. I'm just saying, if she's not your thing, then she's not your thing. Like, fair enough. But she's not that attractive, not that good in the ring, not that good on the mic. So what is she good at? I mean, you've had to stick Ellsworth with her to get, like, even really heel heat on her. Like, that's...
Yeah, and it's not really... It's only working because people are annoyed. Like, every time
it is the X-Pac. Like, oh. Yeah, it is the X-Pac go-away heat.
Yeah, they've pretty much got Miz heat at this point. It's just not... It's not working from a heel standpoint. It's not working from a lot of standpoints.
The spots were pretty good. They weren't afraid of the ladders, which was nice. I kind of thought that would be a bit weak, but it was good. The only part of the match where I kind of got tuned out, aside from the ending, was there was a spot where, and they do this. This is not a unique thing, but you had Natty Neidhart with a sharpshooter on Becky Lynch, and Carmella comes and boots her in the face to break up the whole. It's not a pin match, ladies. And the men do this. This is not like a woman's thing. It's like they can't figure out that, okay, we're booking a multi-person ladder match, not a multi-person match. So when people get locked in submissions, we don't have to break them up. Like, you break them up by Carmella grabbing a ladder and going for the belt, and Natty having to stop her. Like, that's how you break up that submission. Like,
yeah.
Or if you're gonna break it up, do something like really good to actually make me believe Natty's out of the match. Like, a boot to the face doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Give me a finisher or something.
It could be helped by the commentators putting over the fact that it's just instinct to break up, so that somebody else doesn't get the win. They could play that angle if they could remember to do things like this, which would make it a little bit more believable, a little bit more plausible. But yeah, other than that, it's just faces being stupid and heels being stupid and just stupid.
Yeah, I have it written here. I wish the Money in the Bank holders would actually lose periodically, so I could stop hearing statistical certainty, because they're misusing it. Charlotte ate some pretty big bumps, so credit to her. There were a lot of
corkscrew plancha was the bomb.
It looked like she kind of messed that up a little bit, but it was the bomb.
She just kind of looks like that. She has this weird kind of crouched crab style that she does, and it just that's just her physicality. If she would have extended her body a lot more, it would have looked better. But that's basically just her technique.
There was one other kind of botch where Charlotte goes for a spear on Tamina, and it looked bad. Yeah, again, skinnier people don't do the spear. I don't buy it. That's the problem. Yeah. I do not buy. It's the same as when Edge did it. I don't buy it. I just don't.
Yeah, because he does the weird stupid crab walkie thing. He's like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah. I'll go over a couple of the good spots because we shat on some things. So let's at least give them the credit where it is due. Almost all of these girls ate pretty solid bumps, so credit to all 5. They also did it pretty safely, actually. A lot of the concern with this was that historically, Charlotte and Sasha specifically, but like kind of the women in general, have taken these first-time opportunities as like these big challenges to do something crazy, and no one really did, which is good because as much as I appreciate like a big spot, and I appreciate it. I'm a CCW fan. Enough said. I was. I'm not really a fan of the current product, but they were safe here, and I don't want to see people hurt, and they did that. They conveyed brutality without me thinking that anyone had their career shortened or they really, 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 really were hurt. Like there were worse stuff later in the card. So, yeah, 2 thumbs up there.
The corkscrew plancha was, I think, the big spot of the match. So that was, I thought it was well executed, and I don't think it was a botch at all. That's just how she does it. I would have a more extend the legs some more, and you'd have it nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only time I thought someone might have gotten hurt was actually a pretty innocuous spot where Tamina and Charlotte were up on the ladder, and Tamina headbutts Charlotte off of the ladder, and she kind of landed a little bit awkwardly on her knee. That was the only time where I thought that someone might have gotten hurt a little bit. So, good work. Bad finish. Couple logicals. Let's move on to something else.
Okay.
We did great balls of fire package. Oh, by the way, to answer the earlier question, this was a 3-hour pay-per-view, of which, according to the official match times, 85 minutes and 95 seconds were spent actually wrestling. Or not 95 seconds, but yeah, 95 seconds. So pardon me, just because of how you're adding it with the 60s instead of 100. So 86 minutes and 35 seconds. Man, that's not good. That is less than half the show on a pay-per-view.
Yep.
So, that's a bit of a fail. We had Lana backstage. The only thing about this that I got was that Dasha is really, really, really bad. The Naomi is heavily, heavily ranked number 1. Oh, my brain. Oh, my brain. Lana did good work here. She is good on the mic. Not fantastic. Needs a little something still, but really good. Then we had the New Day versus the Usos. Perfectly acceptable match with a fuck finish, which get ready for. There's a lot of that tonight.
Yeah, I was really bored with the match. It's all the same stuff they always do, and then they forgot to have an end to the match. I think that's literally what it is. I don't think anybody booked the finish to the match. Nobody told them what the finish was going to be, so they just didn't do it.
I was fairly into the match, and considering how kind of annoyed I was with the Money in the Bank match, like, to keep me remotely interested is reasonably impressive. But yeah, I mean, it's your standard floor spots. Your standard spots for New Day and the Usos. I'm going to mention 2 that did stand out a little bit. Big E had a very smooth, like, apron splash on one of the Usos. That was good work. Looked like it hurt like a bitch, and really good. And Kofi took a nasty bump over the top. One of the Usos, I think it was Jimmy. I didn't write it down. I can actually tell them apart, unlike the clones, who I honestly cannot.
That'll be the ultimate feud.
But I believe it was Jimmy pulled the top rope down and Kofi went out to the outside, and I think he whacked his head on the floor pretty good. So that's a little nasty. But otherwise, it was your work Kofi Kingston over. Big E comes in for the hot tag stuff. That's really about it. They kind of screwed up a big landing where Big E catches Jay off of the top rope, but then dropped him and had to deadlift him back up. Kind of actually made it more. It kind of actually made it more impressive. But
yeah, I guess so. Like I was impressed watching him do it. Going, man, that's commitment to a really botched thing.
Yeah,
guess I can appreciate that.
Well, like it puts over the strength, but yeah, it does kind of point out that it's like, dude, just rethink the spot. Yeah, it's not like this is even the finish of the match because Jimmy's going to come in and break up this pin. So
yeah,
just elbow drop or splash something. There's a lot of things you can do there instead of trying to repeat the spot. Yeah, so it leads to the Usos intentionally getting their asses counted out.
So I was pretty bored with that.
Yeah, it was.
It made me. I believe
it was not good.
My total reaction to the whole thing was like.
Also,
I went and found some naked ladies on the internet.
Just to go through this, the problem with a lot of these finishes is that, to a degree, in a vacuum, they were okay, but all the major heels went over on this card. The only face wins were the Fashion Police and Naomi. And you could argue if Naomi's actually really the face in her matches with Lana, because I think the fans actually want to cheer Lana more.
I'm telling you right now, cheering for Lana regardless. Lana's got it. Lana's got my vote. Cheering for Lana.
Oh yeah, no, we've been through this before. Naomi is a perfectly serviceable mid-card face. If you put her in there with someone like, say, Charlotte or Natty Neidhart, you'll get a pretty good match out of her. But as a ring general, she is not good. Like her actual
ring private.
Her actual understanding. Well, we're actually let's save this for the Naomi Lana match because it's right now. After we had some promo crap, we had the women's title match between Naomi and Lana. I will lead on this one because you kind of stole my thunder on the New Day Usos thing.
Well, it's not my fault. I'm that good.
They screwed up the entrance order here, and not for the first time tonight. Champion came out first. It's not good. It's not good. Especially when the champion is a face. I think this honestly doesn't work because you kind of want that big pop right before the match.
Yeah, excitement's good. I like excitement.
Exactly. Both of these girls are actually quite fine when they're on offense. But I think that their defense work needs some work. I think Lana kind of oversells everything to a degree. And to be clear, I want to say this. Any criticisms I have of Lana in this match were she vastly over-delivered on anything she should have been able to do. Vastly.
You ain't talking shit about my girl, are you?
So when I'm saying negative things, I just mean these are things to work on in the future. I expected there to be more to work on, not what I have. She does oversell a little bit. Like, she's screaming on everything early in the match, which, number one, I think blew her up a little bit. And number two, it kind of means, okay, so that's your base level of selling. What are you going to do on, like, an actual spot? And that's kind of the problem. So tone that down a little bit. Probably helps everything. And Naomi's the opposite, where she's just dead fish when she gets hit. And, so I have it here. Somewhere in between would be good.
Yeah.
I said match was better than it had any right to be. A couple of slightly clunky moments. But I also said, if this is what Lana is now, I definitely want to see more. I want to see a ton more.
I was going kind of overboard on the chat last night and bigging her up a lot, and I don't really take much of it back today. If this is what she's like, she had like what one other match 2 or 3 years ago at a WrestleMania. Why you would debut somebody of women's wrestling?
Well, it was a mixed tag deal.
It's still not something you do at WrestleMania. They don't bring rookies off the bench in the Super Bowl unless they're completely out of players.
Well, I mean, Lawrence Taylor had his debut.
Well, there you are. But this, I mean, I would say she was the third best female worker on the night.
I'd probably put her fourth.
You would, because you got that thing for Becky Lynch.
She's a good worker. We've been through this, sir. There are women I find attractive that I admit are terrible workers.
Yes. But yeah, no, I would say you got your Charlotte, you got Natalya, you got Lana. You could put Becky Lynch in there since she's way more experienced. But if this is what Lana's capable of in really, really her debut match, having never actually worked a match before, holy crap, she could be the greatest women's wrestler of all time. If the learning curve keeps going, I mean, if this is her total zenith, then I mean, you've got another, Becky Lynch level wrestler, which is not a bad thing to have. And my only real gripe is, I got two minor gripes for the match. A, Naomi's not over. End of story. B, you had Lana debut this devastating finisher to wipe out the champ, and she pulled off the move in the match, and it got no-sold, pretty much. That's not how you do things in pro wrestling. I'm not sure if Vince is aware of this.
Yeah, her finisher should not have been kicked out of. It didn't have to be the end of the match, because you could have done something. Carmella could have come out then and distracted Lana, and that would have sold it not being the finish. But to have Naomi kick out of it, no, that was.
And I was kind of jazzed up because I had made a comment about, okay, watch this. They're going to have, not only have they totally fucked up the women's Money in the Bank match, but they're going to fuck up the title by putting it right on Carmella. And I was sure that they'd have her come down, and then, like, it didn't matter who would win the match, they could instantly cover up Lana winning the title by having Carmella just, smash her with something and then take the title immediately. And then you've got that would have been perfect, because then you'd have a Carmella and Ellsworth versus Lana and Rusev program. That would have been fantastic. Well,
that assumes that they keep Rusev with her on TV. Which
I don't.
They probably won't.
No, they won't. It makes too much sense, and therefore they're allergic to money. But that would have been perfect. And it was just kind of Carmella comes down and teases it, and the crowd goes mild. Because no one cares about Naomi, and no one cares about Carmella, and I think Ellsworth is the only person that's over in the entire triumvirate there. And it was kind of not good. Kind of not good at all. I was really disappointed. I was really hoping that they'd actually give Lana the win, because if people knew that she was capable of this match, I would have done it. I would have put the title right on her.
No, like I said, my entire reservations about the idea of putting the title on Lana was the simple question: can she wrestle?
Yeah,
she can. And I would have done it.
You kind of touched
and
on
then
it.
And then you could have had
the match turned into kind of a women's tennis match, which nobody likes.
Mm-hmm. You could have totally then had a face win Money in the Bank, because I understand, like, the reason I picked Carmella to win Money in the Bank was that they for some reason will not let Natalie be like a main player in the division. They won't. I don't know why. She's a fantastic worker. She's got the heritage. Her versus Charlotte Flair would be a phenomenal feud over the title. Come on. You could even get digs back into Bret Hart, Ric Flair territory. I mean, Jesus. Amazing. But they wouldn't do that, and Tamina having the Money in the Bank, she's odd in the sense that before she was injured, she was not a good worker. You didn't look forward to her matches, but she was better than this, and she seems overly timid now, whether that's fear of injuring someone or re-injuring herself or whatever that may be. We said ring rust, but the problem is that if this is her ring rust, I don't know it's going to go away because the women don't get enough, like, they don't get enough matches. They don't get enough ring time to work that off, really.
Yeah, well, they haven't given her anything. They're like, all right, well, you're fresh back from injury. We're going to give you like three different times to stand around in the ring and do nothing during bullshit promo work, and which you're not going to take part in.
Not really, anyways. You get the shortest promos of all.
Yeah, and then you're going right into the main event scene for no reason whatsoever. Great. It's gonna be a couple of months before she's really up and running again. If they actually let her work matches, which they probably won't.
Yeah, and then you couldn't have a face win the Money in the Bank because you had a face champion, and I was pretty sure Naomi was retaining. And so we basically, by process of elimination, Carmella needed to win. But if you put the title on Lana, you have a heel champion. You could have, I would assume, Charlotte, or Becky's also an option. Win Money in the Bank, and boom, you have a better feud because Naomi and Carmella is going to suck. Because neither, like, the thing is with both of them is they have some assets in the ring, and they work reasonably well if you give them someone who could be the ring general. Neither of them are the ring general. They're not going to accentuate each other's strengths in any way. You also have the problem with the man winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. So, like, if you put the title on Lana, so many doors open that lead to just so much better stuff in the future.
Yep. It's just too bad this is the final nail in the coffin for the, quote, women's revolution. That's, you can't go forward from here. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. The women's revolution was dead when they started calling it the women's revolution. Because
correct.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing in wrestling. When wrestling gets, like, hot and over, it's a person or a team doing it. Like a tag team or a singles competitor. Or two singles competitors feuding with each other. When you make it about, for lack of a better term, gender, like even when they brought up Charlotte and Company and did the team thing, this seems forced, which is not good. This seems silly. And the characters all became caricatures of themselves. Like Becky, for example, became the crazy one. They actually even referred to her as that. We understand, you're the crazy one. It's like, oh my god, everything you could do wrong, you are doing wrong. What is wrong with you people? Yeah, the thing is like Stephanie McMahon's fingerprints are all over that. I'm like, you're a woman, Steph. How did you botch this so hard?
Oh, well, it's Stephanie McMahon. If Stephanie McMahon's not the one getting over, she'll fuck it up every way she possibly can, because it's not about her. That's just how that works.
But it could have been about her. It could have been her legacy.
And see, when I heard somebody say women's revolution, I'm like, this has got to be Stephanie McMahon trying to make like a public relations thing so that even Vince can't turn it down and can't ignore it, because now it's really, really public. But then I remembered, oh yeah, Steph buries everybody. At least she's married to the right guy.
Well, we hope. We will see. We will see. We really didn't go through the finish of the match, which was Naomi forcing Carmella to tap out. Or not Carmella, Lana to tap out. And then Carmella does not cash in. Which to me is the right call, because I don't like same night cash-ins. Like, don't get me wrong, the moment is huge and stuff, but just from a logical sense, you've gone through this supposedly brutal ladder match. And you know, they did a good job of making the women's Money in the Bank look brutal. You're going to cash in on a girl who had let's pull it up here, a 7.5 minute match that she won by submission and didn't really take any solid bumps. So, yeah, that's doesn't really logically make any sense to do the cash in now.
No, which is why you don't put it on Carmella. You could just have Charlotte Flair be the heel. Hey, wait, she's done that before. She's kind of good at it. Why don't we just have Charlotte Flair win the thing?
Oh, that would help a lot, because you want
to talk about historic? What if they put the Money in the Bank on Charlotte? She instantly cashes it in and makes it into a three-way dance. Destroys the other two, thus legitimizing the women's Money in the Bank and herself, and she's now top heel. Everybody goes home with a giant paycheck in their pants. But that doesn't make
I
any
would stretch
sense,
it out
'cause
more.
that's
I
what
would
went-
stretch it out more than that. But I would put it. I
It's-
would put it on Charlotte. Yeah.
It would be the best way to have a short-term, huge impact. That would be a giant kickstart to a female Money in the Bank match being a thing. If they do it next year, I'll be shocked at this point.
Then we had a bunch of, frankly, shit. Not all of it was shit, but mostly shit. Randy commercials. We had a Fashion Vice bit, which was the only good part of this.
I was so fucking pumped after the botch finish after botched finish after botched finish. We finally got some Fashion Police. I was so happy.
This was not one of their better bits. But I will say this: Fashion Vice has legs. Fashion Vice can do a lot of things. That right there is going to keep me happy as long as they do it. Like this was a little shaky, mostly because it was basically just the videotape of what we learned later was the Ascension. Oh my god.
Yeah, I really wasn't sure where I couldn't tell from the silhouettes who it was.
I thought it was the Ascension, but I was like, fingers crossed, don't let it be the Ascension, and then it's the Ascension.
You thought it was the Moondogs.
That would have been better.
It would have been probably better, yeah.
Hell, it would have been better if we resurrected one of the pit bulls and brought the pit bulls back. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why they bothered to do the big reveal and then I'm happy that the Fashion Police won a match, and the people were happy that the Fashion Police won a match, but if you had these guys that have been trashing your stuff the whole time, and now you find out who they are, isn't that supposed to be the second part of a longer storyline? Why would you put the faces over? There's no reason for this to go on.
Yeah, the feud's over. They've got 2 wins over the Ascension now, clean. I mean,
yeah, I don't get it.
And they're like spread out wins. Like, I mean, in fairness, they continue with Sheamus and Cesaro versus the Hardys, despite the fact that made no logical sense. So they probably will. Also, because they don't really have anything else for the Fashion Police to do, which again outlines my aforementioned problems with the SmackDown Tag Team division. Then we had Mike and Maria Kanellis, and I actually like that Mike Bennett has taken Maria's name. Like, this leads to a lot of potential stuff. And also JBL was really horrified. It was
very extreme frustration.
It was great. But the promo, this gimmick it's 80s, like in spades.
I think that's what they're going for.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work, and that's a shame because Mike Bennett's a fantastic worker. Maria Kanellis is actually great at working a crowd.
He was total shit in the ring last night, so I mean, they're obviously trying to bury him.
I will. My one nitpick here was that she started out by bringing out that the First Lady is back. The problem is the First Lady gimmick was never in WWE, so she's not back.
She is front.
If you're gonna make callbacks to like things that happened outside of your company, then you have to do it for everyone, and they like to kind of ignore it for almost everyone. So go one way or the other. Like in like I don't know. It didn't. It felt kind of flat with the crowd because I don't think a lot of people in attendance actually understood the reference. Because again,
I don't understand the reference either.
Yeah, it's more of a ROH and Impact wrestling reference from Maria's time there.
Nobody watches Impact though.
It's kind of the thing, it's like they don't really reference anything of Impact for AJ Styles particularly. Like they admit that it was a thing, but that's the extent of it. Yeah. And I finished off with the power of love. God, Vince is burying these two.
Potentially, I don't know.
I'm
sold on the gimmick. I think the gimmick's good. I just don't know if Vince has any brains left in his grapefruits to do anything with it.
I am not sold on the gimmick. I hope to be wrong. Because I like both of these people, and I do believe that new talent on the roster is a good thing. I am surprised they're just skipping Mike Bennett over NXT though. That's a surprise.
I had heard that that was probably going to be the case, that they just debut in the main roster, but nobody was sure. Like, well, for one thing, nobody was sure if they'd actually signed contracts, and nobody was sure when they would debut, if they were debuting, and things like that.
So we'll see where this goes. And then we had more recap stuff. We had a tweet from Shane McMahon saying he doesn't like the result. This is not what he dreamed of. Why did he not come out and do something about it then? Is the authority not here? What the hell?
I mean, it's the authority's job to take. The one thing I do appreciate, the one thing I appreciate about Shane McMahon's is that he does not authoritize his authority. I mean, we don't have to put up with 90-minute promos every 5 minutes.
But it should have just been Ellsworth throws the briefcase down, referees are squabbling, and money, money, money. Restart the match.
Yeah.
That's all you needed. That's all you needed.
Yep. They just don't seem to understand that the finish of a match dictates how people feel about a match.
Largely.
If you didn't know, now you know. If that's why people hate WrestleMania pretty much every year, because they tune in, they might even enjoy 70% of the matches on the card, and then the last match of the night is always Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns always goes over, and people are fucking pissed off, and that means your WrestleMania sucks.
I think you just described Raw for like a year there.
Unhappy. Oh yeah, I mean, they don't do anything different for any other program. Again, that's kind of a drawback. You might want to readdress how you do things for, I don't know, pay-per-view versus TV, because you keep doing the same thing on both, and people are kind of sick of it.
We had Jinder Mahal versus Randy Orton hype package, which did not get me hyped, which was not the package's fault. I'm just not hyped. Then we had, the big introduce the legends that are ringside. Ric Flair, only 2-time Hall of Famer. That will change.
I didn't know he was from St. Louis.
He's not. But he did make it big.
Really?
He did make it big in St. Louis. So I'm willing to let that slide. But it did bring up a point that why the hell didn't we get like a Ric Flair crowd shot during Money in the Bank? Like, I understand that Charlotte disowned him to a degree, storyline. Like, he's in kayfabe. He's not involved in her life. It's still his daughter, and he was there.
Yeah. Also, if I called back completely to a different time and place when Banks and Charlotte had that crazy knockdown, drag out, falls count anywhere type scenario, and Rick came out at the end of it and raised Sasha's hand, I marked out pretty big. Yeah.
Like, you could have just added something to Money in the Bank, though. It's like, Ric Flair in attendance here to either cheer on his daughter or condemn his daughter. I mean, you can go either way.
Woo, crispy. Woo, tangy.
Woo, honey mustard.
Fantastic.
Then we went on to Jinder Mahal versus Randy Orton. I went first on the last one, so take it away, because you're definitely more high on this match tonight.
Yeah, I actually wasn't completely, like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of rest holds, and this match kind of suffered from the same thing that the New Day and Ugo's match was, where it was spot and wait. It's traditional WWE style. We'll do one thing, and we're going to wait for 10 or 15 minutes, and we're going to do another thing. And in between those two things, there's going to be some laying down. We might have nappy time. There may be an extended massage period, and then eventually there'll be another a suplex, perhaps. You might be lucky enough to see two entire suplexes per match. And it was just, there was a lot of that. But for playing to Jatinder, I keep calling him Jatinder. I know a guy named Jatinder, so that's unavoidable. I'm not trying to be racist. Well, not, offensively racist. But Jinder kind of works that way, and Randy doesn't really put forth the effort anymore. So this is the kind of match you're going to get. This probably should have been, if I was going to flip-flop the time I would have given Lana, well, maybe not in her debut, but I would have loved to see, I would have loved to see 20 minutes of Lana wrestling versus 20 minutes of Mahal and Orton just kind of floundering around. I would have definitely done that. But, it wasn't a bad match. It just wasn't exciting. And for all of the dumb fuck finishes, this one was traditional WWE dumb face style, which is, that's traditional. It's historic. So this was just, to me, this was just a WWE match. This could have been for no title, any title. It's just your standard WWE match, and it didn't really offend me, other than I'm not sure why you put your hands on Cowboy Bob. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense,
especially with a bunch of legends around him.
Yeah, Barry Von Raschke will grab you.
I understand that they're old and etc., but the things are tiny, and in a 7-on-2 match, I'm betting on the legends. Baron
Von Raschke will grab you by the skull and squeeze until you are dead.
That's kind of the thing. And the thing is like the Sings have not been sold as remotely badasses. They're not even really sold as wrestlers, frankly.
They are mosquitoes.
Yeah, they're managers. They can wrestle. They're actually not bad at it, but for all intents and purposes, they're managers. My thoughts on this match were, this was a 21-minute squash match of Jinder. I say this because all of Jinder's offense was related to two things. Three things, technically. One, the Singh brothers distracting Randy Orton so he could drop him to the outside and tweak his knee. Kayfabe. Two, working the knee repetitively. Like, he had no offense that didn't start with, I'm going to kick you in the knee. I'm amazing. I was getting my ass kicked until I kicked that knee, though. Oh, that was great. And three, Randy Orton being stupid because he went out there to defend his dad, which we kind of established, frankly, wasn't needed. Like, we kind of have historically sold WWE legends as, despite their age, being able to defend themselves to a degree. You can see this with the Legends matches versus Heath Slater of a while ago. You can see this with... I can't remember who it was. There was a wrestler who came down during a celebration with Dusty Rhodes, Harley Race, a couple other guys. One of the Von Erichs was in there. And he got in the ring and tried to put them down. And the Von Erich locked the claw on him. Dusty Rhodes did some of his punches and sent him flying. Like, he got beat up by a bunch of senior citizens. Yeah, so we've established that these guys can, to a degree, defend themselves. So why didn't they just take out the Sings themselves?
Legit for real, Ric Flair can still deadlift over 300, maybe over 400 pounds. Ric Flair will be fine.
Like, if you wanted to have Jinder go over there and intimidate them, fine. He's your champion. He's a big dude. He's a scary dude. The Sings are tiny. They're not really wrestlers, according to kayfabe. They're managers. So why did Randy have to go over there and beat them up? And the other thing is, why was Randy not counted out? That was way more than 10 seconds of him kicking ass.
You should really just do the New Japan thing and do the 20-second fast count.
Even that wouldn't have worked. He was out there for more than that. Like, he delivered an RKO onto the floor to one Singh and a running RKO through the announce table to another Singh. He should have been counted out. And the other problem is this is the exact same finish they had at Backlash.
Backlash was garbage.
Your face challenger, everyone, is an idiot.
I was really, when he started putting his hands on the Sings, I was really, really hoping for another episode of him doing something a little bit crazy. And one of the Singh brothers just kind of fucking things up, and we get another kind of ooh. I really wanted a repeat. That would have been good.
No, this was not good. Now, in fairness, Jinder versus Randy is never going to be good. I'm not expecting a 5-star classic. I'm not expecting 3 stars. If we get 2, I'm happy. But this was the exact same match. Jinder is still the champion. Still a complete joke. And people like to say Vince McMahon held the belt and blah, blah, blah. The title's legitimacy is already ruined. to a degree, you're right. This is a fake wrestling belt. That being said, there was a storyline to Vince getting the fucking title. There was something there. He had a boatload of help, obscene amounts of help to get that belt. And this is so much worse. It really is.
Yep. And I understand that actually the whole locker room is really behind Jinder on this one because, he's put in a lot of work. He's put it, and he's being rewarded with the title. Great. Awesome. I'm happy that the wrestlers and the guys in the back are happy, but it's not working for me, bros. So could we just not?
In a nutshell, my response to this is book it properly then.
Yeah.
Have Jinder have a build-up where he's winning more than a multi-man match to get the title shot. Give him some different matches, i.e. don't do the exact same fucking match, 2 pay-per-views in a row. This is what I mean. Book it properly. Could Jinder Mahal be a respectable WWE champion? Sure. This man is a worse champion, for sure, in terms of in-ring quality. We've had people like Great Khali hold the belt. We've had The Miz hold the belt. This is not me you have to be a great worker to hold this belt. No. You just need a story. That's what I mean is, Vince McMahon holding the belt had a story to it. It was hot. It was a good angle. This is not even an angle. It's just dead on arrival. Because the reason he's got the belt is this stupid idea that it will grow Indian business, which it won't. We've been through why it won't, unless you want to change your policies regarding them getting the pay-per-views for free. And you want to give them a reason to watch the WWE Network, to subscribe to the WWE Network, because they don't have one right now. Unless you're going to do that, it's not going to do that. And you're not going to get good matches out of this. Especially not if you're going to have Randy Orton feuding with him. You're not having logic. The problem with this entire pay-per-view is that outside of Naomi and the upcoming Breezango versus Ascension match, faces didn't win. Heels won repetitively all the major matches and affected all forward-going storylines. You didn't have a feel-good moment, at any point, because, again, the crowd is not particularly behind Naomi. You could have had it here. Don't get me wrong, Randy Orton is usually not a face pop magnet, but in St. Louis, he could have been. The crowd was really behind Randy Orton.
Yeah, he got at least 8 seconds of fans cheering, which is roughly 10 seconds more than he usually gets.
This was your chance to try to make Randy Orton somewhat of a deal as a face, and you fucked it up.
Yep.
Yeah, I even had it written here. It was written here early in the match. Crowd is hot for the hometown face. Vince Logic says he will lose.
Yep. Yeah, and that carries on into your main event of the evening. Are we going to do the Breezango thing?
We've kind of already covered it. It was a match.
Can we address the fact that they're still called Breezango for some reason when literally everybody...
They're called both, actually. That's kind of my problem. Yeah.
Just call them the Fashion Police.
They call them both on commentary.
Yeah, I don't get that. The promos, they're the Fashion Police, and the commentators call them the Fashion Police, and everybody on the internet calls them the Fashion Police, and they're still announced as Breezango. Come on.
I think the only thing to say is that I was not into a Fashion Police match. The crowd was dead, and I was dead at this point. I'm done.
It took a lot out of me.
And as Byron has pointed out in the past, I'm a Johnny Curtis mark. And I could not get into this match.
I hear that Mike buys Johnny Curtis underwear used on the internet.
It's possible. Stop going through my mail.
Just taking a shot in the dark.
We had more promo shit, and then we went on to the Money in the Bank men's ladder match. I feel you're more heated on this one, so I give you the stage, sir.
I liked the match as it went. The one thing I got problems with, spoilers, kids, is if you're gonna submarine Nakamura right off the bat, right? Nakamura's out of that match for how long? That match was almost half an hour. I feel that Nakamura was out of that match for 20 minutes.
I'd say more, actually. I think he was only in there for maybe 5-6 minutes tops.
Fair enough. So he's out of the match for 20-25 minutes. And he had, on the go-home show, he had nuclear face heat from the crowd. As soon as he even looked at the ladder to go up and get the briefcase down just to do it for the crowd, they went ballistic. And when he came back out later in the match, they went completely nuclear because they know, and Nakamura was doing a real good job selling that, oh, I'm still injured. He did an excellent job with that. He would do moves and still go, I probably shouldn't have done that. Stuff like that. It was great. And then they just fucked it all up. They fucked it up again. They fucked up the finish on all but 2 matches. And that was the Hype Bros and Breezango. It was...
Which, congratulations, you successfully figured out that the Ascension and the Colognes need to lose.
Yeah. Grats. High five. Great success.
Your 2 most buried tag teams in the entire company.
Yeah. I can see the value in putting the briefcase on Corbin. Because, I mean, Vince is good, pretty much strapped the slow-burning rocket to his ass. Or the medium-burning rocket. I mean, it's been over a year since his Andre the Giant Money in the Bank Backlash Battle Chair Shot Thingamabob trophy win. But he's a one-trick pony at this point. He's getting to be pretty good in the ring. I'm not taking a shot at his abilities. He still doesn't promo very well. He just is like, I'm a bully. I got a bully stuff. So that's boring. And then he just jumps people from behind, even though he's the biggest guy in the match. So he's a giant chicken shit bully. Cool, I guess. And why was Owens even in this match? Why? You're going to tie up your only title. The only title you've got. Because no one gives a shit about Jinder Mahal being champion. You're going to tie up the only title you've got in a multi-man match? For how long was the promo build up for this? Like a month? So for a month or more, you've been keeping the U.S. title out of any kind of storylines whatsoever. When you could have had a U.S. title match at this pay-per-view, and you could have had somebody else in the match. You could have had a Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles.
Honestly, would have done, personally, I would have done Owens Nakamura.
Yeah,
U.S. title.
Yeah,
have Nakamura win that belt.
Yeah, total. That would be massive. That would be an actual move that would make sense and people would enjoy. Because at this point, they're doing the Vince thing where they're burying the faces. Whoa, look at this. We got this hot tag team in NXT. Let's call them up. They have one of the biggest debuts of all time and shit talk the Dudleys to the point where even the Dudleys are speechless. Let's bury them. Oh, look, we've got this guy from Japan and everybody's going completely bananas. They're screaming his theme song. They're going nuclear crazy every time he even glances sideways at a title. Let's bury him. What the fuck?
I'm in fairness going to say that they actually did a good job of putting Nakamura over in this match outside of having him win.
Yeah, but all they need to do is give him the title. You will be making John Cena money in a heartbeat. You won't need to have John Cena come back from all of the things he wants to do to try and save your ass. You can have the new John Cena right now. And you can have the female John Cena, but they're firing Bailey or whatever the fuck they're doing. I don't even know if they're smart enough to fire him.
They had her in the Great Balls of Fire ad, so presumably she's going to be around for a while. Don't know what she's going to be doing because I'm not really interested in seeing them try to do anything with her at this point.
Nope. Unless she comes out on Raw and kicks the ever-loving shit out of the midget. I'm not interested.
Yeah, pretty much.
But anyway, this is another long line of dropping the ball, fucking the finish up, can't get anything right, probably should fire everybody involved. Just this was basically a giant cart of lemons, and I have the sourest taste in my mouth.
I started watching this Money in the Bank pay-per-view, getting ready to defend Baron Corbin winning Money in the Bank.
Go ahead.
The problem is that my basis of that was that I didn't have I still actually don't really have a problem with him winning Money in the Bank, but it goes back to what I said a couple of times throughout this review: is in a vacuum, things make sense, but in the whole, they don't. My thought was that Randy Orton is going to win the title in his hometown of St. Louis and pick up the win and get the belt. Therefore, you need a heel to win Money in the Bank. You're not going to give it to Ziggler because he's kind of dead in the water right now.
Yeah,
Owens has got a title, so that leaves it with Baron Corbin. Vince loves Corbin. I would have
totally had Owens win. I would have had Owens win, and I want Owens to do the Lance Storm WCW thing and wear all of the belts and hold all of the things, and then nobody can ignore him.
But people aren't ignoring Owens as is.
They are now.
But
he's gone.
But like the problem was that you had the heel retain his title. So unless we're going to go down the route of face Jinder Mahal, and please don't, because I don't think it'll work, and your heel side is already thin as all hell. Because I was thinking about this when you brought up that you could have a U.S. title match on this card, and fill out the card a little more because this was anemic as hell. Between my suggestion would have been Owens and Nakamura, have Nakamura take the belt. I did actually have a legitimately hard problem figuring out what heel would replace Owens in the match. I didn't have a hard time figuring out who to replace Nakamura with. Ty Dillinger.
Yep.
But I did admittedly have a real hard time coming up with a heel to replace Owens because the best I could come up with was like Eric Rowan.
That's not Money in the Bank material.
Yeah, so no face turns, please, because you need the heels you have. You need more. Actually, this kind of goes back to our the tag team division having the exact same problem. I think you're pretty much throughout this roster way too face heavy. The women's division is relatively 50-50, but the workers are all on the faces side, like Becky and Charlotte, and to a degree Naomi. Whereas your best heel worker is Natalya, and then Lana, who's had one match, and then the rest is terrible. So you have imbalances on the heel face spectrum all over the place on this roster right now. So please do not turn any of your heels face. So yeah, with that in mind, a face winning here would have made tons of sense because you could probably generate some interest in Mahal's title reign by having a face Money in the Bank holder. You didn't need a heel in this case. If you were going to do a heel, you needed Orton to win. So yeah, like I said, individual decisions made sense, but not within the whole. It's just not good.
Agreed.
So just to go over a couple of spots, because we haven't really even talked about the match overly. So yeah, Nakamura got blindsided by Corbin at the start. I have here 10-ply camera shot from Corbin to Nakamura, which I'm just going to say this. If you're not going to do it right, don't do it. That's it. If they say, okay, you're going to hit him with a camera, and you're like, I don't really want to do that. One, I don't really want to break the camera. Two, I don't really want to hurt the guy with the camera, whatever the holdup is. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Say no. A couple of good things here. Byron did actually a lot of good work. I'm gonna give him some props throughout this. He caught Ziggler on the floor for a deep six, which was pretty cool.
Yep.
Owens really had the must-have battering ram spot, and it was one of the better battering ram spots I've seen in a while, so good work there. AJ with the drop toe hold onto said battering ram, which was great. Sammy absolutely destroys Kevin Owens by beeling him off the top ropes into a ladder that actually deforms the shit out of the ladder.
Yeah.
That was great. Just because it's been our theme this for the last little bit, the camera's fucked up when there's like a reaction from the crowd and like a big bam somewhere, and it's like, well, we completely missed that spot. Didn't see it at all.
Yeah, not only did they like completely miss the spot, wait for 10 seconds, and then yank the camera line over that way to confirm. Yeah, we totally missed.
We totally missed that spot. There are a couple of guys laid out.
and while they're busy confirming the fact that they missed a spot, they miss another spot that they were supposed to be covering in the first place.
Yeah. So that's bad.
State of your camera.
Let's see here. What else is really? I have a bunch of shit written down here. I'm just going through like the highlights.
I don't have anything written down. I enjoyed the match as it was put together as a whole, and right up until the end, it was going well.
I liked Ziggler climbing over top of Byron on the ladder. That was good. I like that. I think that's a new one. Then we had...
I think I've seen it before, but maybe not.
Probably. Ziggler hit Baron Corbin, who was on the ladder with a zigzag. That was cool. At one point, I was wondering if Owens was dead because I hadn't seen him in a while, and then he came... Then, he... hang on. I'm skipping ahead of myself a little bit here. AJ, Sammy, and Ziggler did a kind of three-man on the ladder spot, with Sammy hitting Ziggler with a sunset bomb off of the ladder. Oh,
sunset bomb OP.
I will note just one thing here. This was kind of the ladder match logic. I was talking about it earlier with the sharpshooter spot, and it happened here again where I don't. What is the logical reason for Sammy doing the sunset bomb? Ziggler was out of it, kind of unconscious on the ladder. Sammy could have climbed up and grabbed the briefcase. Instead, he sunset bombed a already unconscious dude. It's a great spot. It is a great spot, but it makes no logical sense.
Correct.
At this point, Owens actually got back in the match, but then ate a half Nelson suplex on the apron from Sammy, and more half Nelsons.
That was probably the spot of the night. I marked out big time. I'm like, and I even put it in chat because I was ahead of Mike at the time. I'm like, holy shit, New Japan has arrived. No spoilers.
I love that. I love that. It got me slightly woody.
Yarp.
Byron did drag AJ outside to do a little bit of announce table work with AJ's corpse. That was good. He choke slammed AJ into the ladder bridge. They had the ladder over the announce table in the ring as a bridge. Came into play a couple of times. It occurred to me at this point because I was looking at Baron Corbin's t-shirt, or well, not t-shirt. It's a sleeveless deal thing. Lone Wolf, Dare Wolf tag team. I'm down for this.
That would be interesting.
I think that would work a lot. Sadly, they don't have the Dare Wolf on contract anymore. We ended up with Sammy clearing the ring out and hitting a hoover kick on Byron. Ziggler failed to stop him, but Owens pulled him off and then hoofed him straight in the balls. That was good. But Owens' triumph is short-lived because AJ is here. They end up on the apron. Owens wants to do his typical power bomb onto the ladder bridge, but AJ hits a Death Valley driver onto the ladder bridge with Owens. So Owens the champ in this match for taking abuse. Oh God, I feel so bad for his spine right now. They did the spot with AJ hanging from the case after Ziggler pulled the ladder out from under him. It would be cool if at some point someone actually managed to unhook the case while they were up there. That would make that spot just that much better because and the announce team did a terrible job here with their well, AJ was left with the choice of grabbing the case and taking the fall or just taking the fall. I'm like, that's not a choice, you idiots. Okay. Continuing on. Baron's got the ladder after he's taken out Ziggler, and he's starting to climb, and Nakamura's music hits. And I will say, the logic again comes into here because Baron, why didn't you just climb the fucking ladder and grab the briefcase? Because you got it anyways. JBL even points out the logical. Like, when I'm agreeing with JBL, you have a problem. That's just all there is to it. The projectile ladder misses Nakamura by a mile. We get some good striking spots from Nakamura. I'm going to give Baron credit here because a lot of people have seemingly been afraid of eating Nakamura's stuff. He doesn't seem to be. So,
no, and
I'm fine with that.
Also, Owens really stepped up as well and ate some stuff.
Oh, yeah. AJ as well, but Ziggler's still a squeamish bitch.
That was a big turnaround from the match they had on SmackDown.
Yeah. So maybe they're actually getting some trust in Nakamura to not end careers. So
I mean, he did break Austin Aries' orbital bone.
There's some fair concerns about this. There actually are. There is a downside to strong style. So that was good. Baron gets sent to the outside with a knee. Ziggler gets fucked up with a top rope Kinshasa and then a regular Kinshasa. So there we go. Why couldn't you have eaten that in Nakamura's first match, you damn bastard? Wheel kick and a reverse exploder and a Kinshasa for Sami Zayn. So at this point, Nakamura is on fire. Owens stops Nakamura from bringing a ladder into the ring with his half unconscious body, and then a running Kinshasa fixes the issue. Then we have AJ and Nakamura doing some great work. It's New Japan is here, baby. New Japan is here.
I totally expected to see a Rainmaker. I was prepared. I was getting ready to just Rainmaker.
We get an exploder from Nakamura, but AJ countered the Kinshasa attempt, and they both end up on the outside because Baron pushed down the ladder. Baron climbs, grabs the briefcase. My only real problem with the ending, and we've kind of gone through this, like ignoring Baron's win for a moment here. The problem was that I felt that Sammy and Ziggler were down for just too long. Like it felt like one of them, like the timing was wrong. Like that one of them should have been able to break it up. But again, I'm kind of fine with Baron. I'm fine with Baron winning. He's the worst talent of the six. But the need for a main event heel right now is absolutely huge, and he could fill that void to a degree. And if Vince is behind him, I mean, fine, let's at least do it right. Nakamura did look badass and special in this match for the first time on the main roster. That's a pen hitting my desk.
I don't believe you.
So that was good. I really do feel like this was a good Money in the Bank match. The problem is that within the confines of too many heels winning on the card, you finish with a heel, a self-professed bully, going off the air with the briefcase while you have a heel champion.
Yep.
So there's no hope of like a face putting him in his place. Unintentional rhyming. So
well, they put Sami Zayn over him like at least half a dozen times.
Well, no, like I mean, like with the Money in the Bank, like when a heel is carrying the Money in the Bank briefcase, you're kind of like hoping to at least see the face beat on him a bit. But
yeah,
it's a heel champion and a heel Money in the Bank carrier, and you have heel tag team champions, and you have a heel U.S. champion. The only face champion in the company, the brand of SmackDown, is Naomi, who is dead on arrival at this point. Like her heat is gone. So, that's the problem.
They've kept Owens off TV so much that there's no chance he's got any heat.
But,
still good on promos.
But what I mean is that you need a face that I can get behind, and who is that supposed to be?
Lana.
She's a heel.
Vote Lana. No,
I will treat her as a face, but she's a heel.
She's not a heel. Everybody loves Rusev, though. Everybody loves her because she's hilarious.
But they are heels.
They're not, though. Well, you know what? If they're gonna do the bullshit Roman Reigns, we're not gonna make him heel because he is a heel. Then we're not gonna make them heels because they're obviously faces. That's just how that works.
But how am I supposed to get behind Lana when theoretically Carmella is ahead of her in the title shot line because of Money in the Bank?
Because love conquers all.
There's just there's not really anything to look forward to right now.
No, not at all. I look forward to skipping a lot of things and not paying attention to a lot of their things. And yeah, that's pretty much what's going to happen.
Like, you have a tag team division that, like, the Usos and New Day kind of under-delivered for me, and that feud's going to continue for a while. And I'm fine with that because they're your two kind of hot tag teams. But, like, they're not doing anything for me. Like, I've never been a big Usos fan. I respect their abilities in the ring. I respect that at various points the crowd has been very behind them or very against them in the heel case. So I understand why you would push them. They just don't appeal to me. And New Day and them weren't a great match. And nothing Jinder Mahal and Baron Corbin are going to do in the title scene really makes me all that interested in that. The U.S. title's been kind of thrown away. Carmella and Naomi is gonna suck.
Yep.
And we got AJ versus Nakamura, maybe in a face versus face match. You didn't need this pay-per-view to make me look forward to that.
Well, they're not going to do that. That would make the money. They're not doing that match.
But I mean, like we've been kind of teased it, is what I mean. But it's like you didn't need this pay-per-view to sell me on the fact that Nakamura versus Sami Zayn or Nakamura versus AJ would be a great match. I've seen both of those matches, and they are great. I will happily watch them again, but you didn't have to sell me on it.
Might have to watch them again right now, because goddamn knows I need a fucking palate cleanser, and Raw's not going to do it for me.
Oh, no, Raw's not going to do it. We both know this. That's all I got for Money in the Bank. You got anything else you want to add?
No, I'm hungry. Let's end this.
Yeah, okay, that's all for now, folks. We'll see you next time. We're going to watch some Lucha Underground tonight. We need a palate cleanser. We're going to go through that. We're going to catch up on that. We're going to film that. And we're going to be a hell of a lot more positive about that. I have not seen it. I can tell you I'm going to be a hell of a lot more positive on that. Because they know what they're doing.
Apparently, so we're on, like, episode 20?
Episode 20 and 21 will be tonight.
Okay, so yeah. Apparently in the latest one, somebody gets murdered. That's all I know, and that's all the spoilers I need.
I'm good with that. Please let it be Famous B.
No, not Famous B. I'm fine with Brenda getting killed. That's fine.
Brenda's growing on me, actually. But that's all for now. We'll chat. We'll hit you back later. If you disagree with us, I'd love to hear why, because I don't know. I'm seeing a couple of people rating this like a B- and a B, and I'm just like, I don't
get it. Every finish was garbage.
I don't know. Maybe, and if it's just me, it's just me. But in fact, I'll feel better if it's just me. To be honest, I will honestly feel better if I'm the crazy one in this whole arrangement.
No, I refuse to have battered pay-per-view syndrome. I don't give a shit. This was trash. It's bad, and you should feel bad. And that's the end of the story.
All right, let's move on to better things.